Today with Ted Nagle from Rolling Thunder Entertainment Company of Nevada. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Awesome.
I understand that you have many facets of your mobile DJ. Can you tell us what Rolling Thunder is?
Well, Rolling Thunder started out in my desire to get into the music industry and not having the ability to play my own band. And so I started doing karaoke a number of years ago, and it has grown over the years to I'm now providing entertainment, mobile DJ and mobile karaoke for private events or community events and that kind of stuff. And every opportunity I get to sing or pretend like I'm singing or something,
Oh, there you go.
I just do it, and we've kind of expanded and expanding into some new areas where we're going to be offering some videography as well, and we're going to be doing, besides doing private parties, like doing weddings and so on and so forth, we'll be able to videotape the ceremony or whatever is needed. But also, as a side, we'll have the equipment available for people to be able to record messages for the bride and groom, and be able to give them a completed DVD of the whole event, showing the,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you said that you have about 22,000 songs for the karaoke.
That's correct.
And how many for your mobile DJ?
Somewhere around 90,000 songs.
That's just incredible.
And I'm always adding on to that. And in fact, I'm just about to add, a big bunch of new music to both sides, and so.
So if you were at a wedding and Uncle Bill came up and he finally got the courage to sing a song, and it's one from when he was a small child.
Yeah.
Would you have that in your repertoire?
More than likely. I have music from just about every genre you can imagine. Everything from reggae to blues to pop and classic rock, 50s, 60s, 40s. So yeah, there's quite a bit. I got a lot of show tunes. A lot of the older folks likes to sing along to show tunes, and
right.
So I have quite a bit of that as well.
And then with the videography, we can watch Uncle Bill years from now singing up there and go, wow, we didn't know he could actually sing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Now, I saw you at a farmer's market in Gardnerville last year.
Yes.
So you provide entertainment and MC for?
Yeah, I sing at the farmer's market just as an entertainment, and like I said, I just love to sing, so every opportunity I get. And that gets me out there so that people can see my abilities or lack thereof, depending on how you look at it. And, it's just a fun thing for me to be able to do that.
That's great. And Michael Smith, who is running the camera today, actually saw you in the Carson Valley Days Parade last year.
That's right. It's been the last couple of years I've been in the Carson Valley Days.
And what, you pull equipment that you can actually run off of a generator?
Yeah, I have like a what I call my mobile sound stage, And it's like a desk that sits across the front of me, and it's all on wheels, and I have a way of mounting it to my wheelchair so that as I roll along, it just follows wherever I'm going. And a generator mounts on the back of my wheelchair, and I got speakers that mount out on the end, so that, you know, I'm literally a mobile stage.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun because I can go any which way I want, and you know, I've even stopped a couple times along the parade route and did a request for a song.
Oh, that's great.
So
A little karaoke on the side.
yeah.
So where could we find you online?
My web page is at rollingthundernv as in Nevada.com.
And can they reach you by phone also?
Absolutely. My phone number is 775-720-8316.
Now, at the end today, Ted's actually going to sing a song for us, but
Gonna try.
where did you get your training? How did you?
Well,
end up doing
I
this?
grew up in a musical family. I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and in fact, the day I was born, my sisters were having a release party for an album that they were releasing. You know, it was more like a 45, I think, a song on each side. And so they were there doing that while my mom was in the hospital delivering me. And anyway, music's been a part of our family ever since I can remember. In fact, it was. And my dad even did some singing and with the girls, and so 4 of my 5 sisters recorded. 3 of them sang in another group for a while, and 2 of them sang in another group that traveled and entertained troops over in Vietnam and in the Asian countries, and they had a great time doing that. And what an experience that was! Lots of stories.
Oh, I bet. So, do I understand that you have 7 sisters?
No, I had 5 sisters,
5 sisters
and 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
And unfortunately, we've lost 2 sisters to cancer since then.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I hate cancer. In fact, that's one of the events I'm very passionate about is doing the music for the Relay for Life in the Carson Valley.
Perfect.
And so I will be doing that again this July.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the Relay for Life, do they do that around the 4th of July? Is that the same? Or?
No, it's going to be happening, I believe it's the 3rd weekend of July. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But
And then you do a 4th of July event also?
yeah, on the 4th of July, I'll be working with the town of Gardnerville and providing background music and MC for their 4th of July celebration. And they have a 5K, 10K walk, run, whatever you want to do, roll.
There you go.
And I think this year they're going to be doing it again, but they did a sidewalk art competition last year, and it was pretty fun. There was only a few teams because it was the first time.
So
But
they actually do chalk drawings on
exactly,
the sidewalk?
yeah. A couple of them were
And pray that
quite
it doesn't
impressive.
rain?
Yeah, exactly. You can take pictures quickly before the wind comes up,
Oh, yes. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. And where do you do karaoke on a
On a regular
basis?
Right now, I do not have a regular gig going. If anyone out there owns a restaurant or somewhere that they'd like karaoke to be run, would love to hear from you and work out some kind of details. In the summer last year, I started doing family karaoke in the park.
Oh,
And that was a lot of fun and had great response to it. We were averaging between 50 and 80 people coming out each week, and
oh my gosh.
most of them were coming out to enjoy the entertainment.
Right.
But we had as many as I don't know. I think we had over 20 singers one time.
So
And
you'll take small children up to.
yeah, we had some kids come up, and we had one young girl. I think she was 14 or 15, something like that, and she was just a phenomenal singer. And so I just love finding talent. Our area has so much talent in it, And that was another key thing for me wanting to start this business, is I hope to help some of these people to become more established, or even start their careers possibly.
To practice and get over the stage fright. You
Right,
might have the next American Idol in your group.
That would be nice.
That would be fun.
Maybe me. No.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
I've actually tried out for a couple of those competition team shows. I went a couple of rounds on. They had a karaoke world competition, and I was one short of getting to the TV part of it, but I had a lot of fun.
And what was the other one?
And the other one I tried out for was The Voice.
Oh, wow.
And so I traveled down to the San Francisco area and tried out down there. But they said, we've got so much talent, out there this year that, some of the people I tried out with in the same room, they broke us up into groups, and some of them were just, put me to shame. So I didn't feel bad at all, but they didn't accept any of the ones in my room. And so it's like, okay, well, moving right along.
We'll practice for next year.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And once again, I'm going to ask you how people can reach you online. I want them to run and grab a pencil and write it down this time.
Okay, run. Okay, good. All right, now, so it's, www.rollingthundernv.com. www.rollingthundernv.com. And then you can also reach me by phone at 775-720-8316.
And we're going to have Ted sing. And what are you going to sing for us today?
Well, I'm going to try to sing Unchained Melody. I didn't bring any background music or anything like that, so I'm going to try and wing it. And hopefully I can pull it off.
There you go. Well, I'm going to step out of the picture and say thank you. And you've got the stage all by yourself.
Okay. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. And time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. God speed your love to me. Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Yeah. Lonely rivers sigh, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. And time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? need your love to me.
Wow. Woo! Welcome to Shop Talk. We're at Bridger Mountain inside the Carson Mall. I'm here today with Sharon De Carlo. She's the publisher, editor, and owner of Horse Tales. And she's also the publisher and editor of the Cowboys North and South, which is the official publication of the Will James Society. Welcome, Sharon.
Well, thank you for having me.
Today we're going to talk about, first of all, Horse Tales. And I have a copy of the Horse Tales. That's a monthly publication. This one is for March 10th through April 10th. And it has a striking picture on the front of Wildfire by Rick Unger. And
Fabulous artist.
is he? And he's done several of your publication covers.
Yes, he has. Rick is from Colorado. He travels around with his art. And we featured him this last time because he has generously decided that he was going to paint wild horses. Over there in Colorado, they have wild horses as well as we have them here. And he is looking for people to send him photographs of wild horses. He then paints them in his style. He does this contemporary type of work, and Wildfire actually was painted from the song, Michael Martin Murphy's song, Wildfire. And also inside you will see other paintings from other songs that inspired him to paint the wild horses. And the wonderful thing that Rick is doing is that he is donating 50% of the profits of all of his original and limited editions to the wild horse advocates all over the West Coast and western states that have wild horse advocates that need money to preserve and help with the sanctuaries, the feeding and the care of wild horses that are gathered up that we advocates save from going to auction and consequently for slaughter. So our hats off to Rick Unger in using his wonderful talent to do that.
And I see also on the front that you're celebrating 29 years.
Yep.
Are you the one that started?
Yes, I did. I started Horse Tales this month, 29 years ago, in Washoe Valley where I live. I had at one time a horse ranch. I raised Appaloosas and quarter horses for show and for breeding, and traveled all over the United States and Canada with them. And that was my profession then. And I decided that it was a lot of hard work for a little bit of money, and I thought maybe as my body was getting tired of the work of taking care of so many horses, which I did love, that I would want to start something else that was always on my mind, and that was to write about horses. So a friend of mine, who some of you may know, she has now passed, her name was Elaine Smith. She's the owner of the Hitch and Post here in Carson City, Western Store, and she started DBRM Western Store in Reno. And one day she said to me, Sharon, you need to start a horseman's magazine for the horse people here in the local area. We have nothing to fall back on, to read about our horses and brag about our horsemen and our youth and what we're doing in the horse world and the horse shows and the rodeos and all of that. She says, you should start a paper, and she said, and I think you should call it Horse Tales. So she has been my inspiration and the one that helped me, encourage me to start this newspaper.
That's amazing. And I'm also, and I'm cheating because I'm looking at the front of this, but it talks about sales, horse property, tack equipment, horse health and research articles, covering every equine breed and event. And it's just
Yes,
chock full.
we cover every event from rodeos to dressage. I mean, we don't leave anything out. If you're a horseman and you just like to trail ride, you'll like Horsetails, because it has lots and lots of articles, informative articles, from what we feel are horse experts in some field or another. And we try to give a good balance for all horsemen to pick this paper up. You can find something you like. We also have some fun things. We have cowboy poetry by Richard Smith, who is a wonderful cowboy poet, lives in our area for years, and is truly an old cowboy who loves to write verse, and he does a beautiful job of it. And we love to put the latest recipes in, or recipes from ranches that go back generations, and ranches that people fixed in Dutch ovens and out on the range. We do lots of stuff like that. And we have our trivia, which people I found out they just love it. I get a lot of good feedback on our trivia. It teaches you about different breeds, about even different peoples. We've had lots of articles about Native Americans and their horses. Now we're kind of had a series on different breeds of horses. This last one was our Clydesdale horses. I think our next one is going to be on Friesians, Friesian horses. We like to pick something out that we think the general public might not know a lot about, and make it an informative and fun article.
And this is a free publication.
Yes, it is.
And you serve Nevada, Northern and Central California, parts of Utah and Idaho.
Right.
And you said you personally deliver most of these?
Yep. When the
drive.
Horsetails hits, all my packages are ready for stuffing. They go to the post office. I get in my truck and I deliver them. We go to all the Western and Feed stores. We have them in lots and lots of restaurants. I think they go the best in restaurants. Mm-hmm. People really enjoy them. They go quickly out of there. And then we also have a subscription if you want Horsetails sent to your house, because perhaps you can't find it in your area readily. You'll find them. You'll find that you can get Horsetails for $25 a year sent right to your house.
Oh, that's amazing. And you also are actively contributing to the Boys and Girls Club. You have some foundations that are close to your heart.
Well, I like to advertise their events and their fundraisers, and I like to advertise, or not advertise, but to let folks know what these organizations are doing. We have the Boys and Girls Club. We have the Reno Rodeo Foundation, whose magnificent work in the community I don't think is as known as it should be. We have 4-H, which I think is a wonderful old institution that teaches kids everything from how to make a sandwich and bake a cookie to raise a sheep, a lamb, horsemanship. We try to get all that information into Horsetails, and if you know of something I don't have in Horsetails that should be in there, just send it to my address. It's always in the newspaper. It's 1444 Glenwood Drive in Gardnerville. And if it's an association for kids that you think we need to put their events and get it back and keeping you posted, or even write an article about it, we're open to you. We're at your disposal. That's what Horsetails is about. We want to be #1 information center for all equine and ag projects. And we're the organizations that are helping kids grow up to be good citizens.
And aside from writing to you, how else can they reach your publication? Email, phone?
You can email me at horsetailsltd@aol.com. We have several links. If you go on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see Horsetails is linked up with a lot of businesses. We do not have a website. I have hesitated to put a website out there because I do not want to put the newspaper out there on a website. I want you to pick the paper up and read it. That's my little quirk. I love walking into our local restaurants and seeing horsetails spread open at and people reading while they're trying to eat their breakfast or their lunch. That's
smiling
wonderful
over
to
the
me.
articles.
Yeah, I enjoy that. And it seems to still work. So they say that the internet has hurt the print world, but and it probably has, but it hasn't seemed to have affected horsetails for whatever reason.
And we're hoping.
Thank you, God.
We're hoping that you'll make Bridger Mountain one of your stops for your paper also. We'd be happy to.
Any place that you would like horsetails sent, if they'll accept it in their business or establishment, just send it to me. Send the address. I will either take it there personally or I'll mail it to them.
Another publication that's near and dear to your heart is the Cowboys North and South. And again, this is the official publication of the Will James Society.
Yes, the Will James Society means a great deal to me because it is a society with a mission. And the mission is to get as many Will James books into as many schools, libraries, as possible. That's what we do. We perpetuate the memory of Will James. And if you don't know who Will James is, you need to go on www.willjames.org, and you will find a lot of information. And he was a cowboy here in Nevada, in Washoe Valley, actually, in Reno area, in the 20s, who came here, and he was the first artist, talented artist, to build a poster for the Reno Rodeo Foundation, Reno Rodeo, the first Reno Rodeo in 1919. It wasn't called the Reno Rodeo then, it was called the Nevada Roundup. And they asked him, because they saw him, he was always, everywhere he went, he was sketching cowboys and horses and little kids with horses. And he just kept doing that, and finally one day his wife-to-be said, you know what, you're an artist and you need to get serious about it.
Wow.
And she also noted that he was constantly writing about his experiences as a cowhand here in Nevada and in Montana. He also was well known in the Billings, Montana area. He owned the Rockin' R Ranch. But that's another story. His story here in Washoe Valley is one that still lingers, as his cabin still sits up in Washoe Valley off of Franktown Road. It is on private land and it is not open to the public, but as a Will James, member of the Will James Society, we've been allowed from time to time to take tours up there to go through Will James' cabin, and that's where he wrote a very famous book called Smokey that was made into 3 movies later, back in the 20s, 30s, and the last one was made in the 40s. And it's a wonderful story about a horse called Smokey. And, of course, the horse runs up against a lot of obstacles and troubles, which makes the movie very interesting. And he even won an award for that book. I think it was called the Newbery Award, which is a very prestigious literary award. And what else can I tell you? He's a wonderful artist, a wonderful author. He got in a little trouble here in Nevada when he got needing some money to eat, and he rustled some cattle.
Uh-oh.
And he spent a year in our prison system here in Carson City, first in Winnemucca and then here. He spent a year, and quite remorseful for what he had done. The other fellow that was with him when they rustled these few cows did not have to do time. For whatever reason Will did, this is where he honed his art and his writing abilities, because that made him stop, and he couldn't do much else. I think he was also a prisoner that took care of the prison stock, the horses at the time. And everybody loved him anyway, and they brought him lots and lots of art supplies so that he could draw. And he worked on his art all that year. And when he got out, he was a better artist than when he went in. And anyway, he's got quite a history here. We've met lots of folks that have relatives and are descendants of people that knew him back in the 20s and 30s. He married a young woman here from the Conrad family in Reno. She was 16. And she was the one who inspired him and pushed him and told him, you need to write and you need to, put your art out there for public. And by golly, Scribner picked him up, and he was published by Scribner in New York, which was a really big deal back then. And his art made Sunset Magazine, and many of his short stories made Sunset Magazine. So anyway, we feel like his work, his children's books are fabulous, and we want to see them all in the schools. And I'll tell you, when the kids receive the books and they start reading them, the teachers and the librarians tell us that they are the books checked out the most once they get their hands on it.
And I don't know if we can focus in on this, but there's Lovelock, Branson, Colorado, all kinds of schools. The kids have actually drawn little pictures and written a thank you to the society for donating the books.
Exactly.
And he's written 24 books?
24 books. Last one has not been published. It was in the works when he passed away.
And how can someone in a school system reach the society to get books for free in their schools?
Well, our business office is located in Elko now. It was in Billings, but we brought it to Elko, Nevada, because Elko, Nevada has been so wonderful in opening up their arms to the Will James, because there's so many folks that love Will James there. But if you send it to P.O. Box 1572, Elko, Nevada 89803, to the Will James Society, or you can go online to www.willjames.org, and that will give you all the information. And there is an application on the site. You can fill it out for the school that wants the books, and we'll see to it that they are gifted to that school library.
How could someone become a member of the Will James Society in this area?
Well, here again, if you go online, there's a membership form there. Just fill that out. It's $35 a year. Then you will get a quarterly, our Cowboys North and South quarterly. It has all kinds of information about Will James, the history of Will James, his art, and of course all the schools that are gifted are in there as well. It's a fun magazine. I love and enjoy putting it together.
And when we browsed through this earlier, we saw a lot of pictures, and there were recipes in there.
Recipes, we call them the cowboy recipes, because a lot of the recipes we try to find are recipes that ranchers, the Chuck Wagon rancher has put together, that he cooks out on the range for the cow hands, and we try to put it together the way they would have said it, the way they would have explained it, with their cowboy jargon from the 20s and 30s, which is quite interesting.
I'm going to try to use some of these words when I play Scrabble. There's a glop, which is a teaspoon.
Right.
There's a lump, which is a tablespoon. And these will be great.
And a whole heap, which is 2 rounded cupfuls.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, I guess the third thing that we wanted to talk today about, and you feel that they don't get enough recognition, is the Reno Rodeo Foundation.
Yes, the Reno Rodeo Foundation, I've just recently become quite aware of what they do. I know that most of us have seen their campaign during the year. It's called the Denim Drive. And the Reno Foundation Reno Rodeo Foundation are the ones that put that together. And the Denim Drive is to collect clothes for kids who are suddenly, for whatever reason, taken from their homes or abandoned or orphaned or whatever. And all of a sudden they end up in a shelter or in the county with nothing to wear. And these kids are really in need, and the foundation has done a great job to supply kids in this kind of a disaster lifestyle to have something decent to wear. They have, you can donate all kind. You can donate money. You don't have to donate denim and clothes. You can donate money, or you can donate sundries for them as well.
And they're also talking about a museum.
And their latest thing that's coming up that I just found out about is that they are honoring Cotton Rosser. And they're having a wonderful artist from here that lived here in Carson City for a long time. His mother actually owned a frame and art shop here for a long time, and his name is Buckeye Blake. And Buckeye Blake is in the process right now of finishing up a beautiful bronze statue of Cotton Rosser, who is the man for years. He and his family supplied all the stock for the rodeos. And that's going to be placed in front of the Reno Rodeo office on the fairgrounds. And they're also going to sell bricks to go with that. So if you have somebody famous that you'd like, or not famous, but somebody who contributed a lot to the community, you can buy a brick. And that brick will go there in front of the Reno Rodeo office as well on the walkway. And we're going to buy one. The Will James Society is going to buy one of those bricks for Will James, because we think he has a wonderful rodeo connection, having been the first artist to build that poster for them back in 1919. And then, the museum. I almost forgot. They're going to be building a museum as well, and it's going to be for rodeo cowboys. And I think that's a wonderful addition to Reno, and I think it's much needed and probably overdue.
Very good. We have a million more things to talk about, but I think we're going to wrap it up for today. And just one more time, how can they reach you for Horsetails?
Well, you can get me at my email, which is horsetalsltd@aol.com, and please spell tails Tales. Many
Yes.
spell it the other way, and it's horsetalsltd@aol.com, or you can call me at 775-265-7137.
Thank you for joining us for Shop Talk inside the Carson Mall at Bridger Mountain Boutique. I'm here today with Mike Fischer, who is leading the ranch tour at the Genoa Cowboy Festival. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I'm just fine. I'm excited about the ranch tour.
What can you tell us about the ranch tour? What ranches you're going to and what day?
I think the most exciting part for me is that we're going to feature with the Bentley portion that used to be Dangberg farm to market approach, where they're starting a certified organic beef program. They're going to talk about that. They have some real innovative farming techniques that they use. They use wastewater and regular water, so they can still put fields in even in this dry year. And then, most excitedly, they're going to do an adaptive reuse of the Minden Milling building and turn it into a distillery. And we're going to talk about how they're going to raise the grain for that distillery during that portion. So it's going to offer some real unique aspects to our ranch tour.
That's great. And the part of the ranch that you're going to, is there agricultural? I mean, they have a huge, the cattle, the rangeland. And
They have both cattle on the portion that we're going to, although they're more in a feedlot and pasture situation. And then they also have regular alfalfa. I mean, most ranches in Carson Valley sell hay, and they have a big hay production process, and they also use the other crops to set them up for the hay production. So they'll put a field in rye, and then eventually it'll become grass and alfalfa mix, which goes all over the area to feed cattle and horses and all kinds of stuff.
And what kind of grains do they grow for the distillery? Will it be barley, hops, or?
Well,
They-
for the
that's-
distillery itself, I'm familiar with rye.
Rye.
I'm not certain if they're going to raise corn. Most people don't know that
The
rye
mash.
whiskey is, because it's predominantly rye, and that bourbon whiskey is predominantly corn mash
Oh,
that they
that's right.
use. But in this instance, they do raise oats. They'll have oats that are in there. They use wheat as a cover crop on occasions, I believe, and I know that they're going to put in rye for the distillery.
And what year was that distillery, the building they're going to use for the
The
distillery?
Minden Milling building was built in 1906 for the Minden Milling Corporation.
And how long since they've used that? It's been,
A long time. The last person I know that was in there was Mr. Marking with Marking's Feed and Seed, and he's been gone a long time. So it's been quite a while.
That's
It's
really
exciting
exciting.
that it's
Yeah.
an old brick building that's going to put a new adaptive use.
I love to see the old buildings revamped and reused instead of new box stores and things going up. That's going to be real nice.
Well, I wouldn't have any comment on that, but I certainly love the old buildings.
Right. And then you're also going to the Max Settlemeyer Ranch?
Max Springmeyer.
Oh, Springmine.
Oh, that's
So,
fine. In
Springmine.
Carson Valley, if you get your German names confused, it's not a problem
It's
because
not.
they're almost always related to the one you're talking about.
That's right. It's not
They're
a
all
sin.
cousins in Carson Valley.
I believe that.
Yeah, Max Springmeyer. Max Springmeyer is in the Mack family now, but it was not originally, it was in 1871, H.H. Springmeyer bought it. A portion from Dangberg and a portion from another man. So they have interconnecting family histories. And sometimes they got along, and like other people, sometimes they didn't.
Sometimes they didn't.
So that's part of the story too, some of the folklore and different things that go on with the family histories and how they're intertwined.
And then you're going to take a break after that ranch and go to lunch and
Always
Maybe.
have to have a fun lunch at the J&T restaurant.
I love that place.
It's, yeah, a lot of local color, and they always treat us really, really well. The people get to talk to each other. The ranch principal will be there so that they can talk to both either the owners or managers of the different ranches. So we'll have a nice, relaxed lunch. It was fun last year. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun this year, too.
and then you're going to the Stotic Ranch?
Yeah,
after
Stotic
that?
Farm.
Oh, the Stotic
It's
Farm.
one of the few that they actually call a farm. Fred Stotic was the originator. Friedrich Stotic in 1868, I believe. Probably just interesting that the guy that owns it right now, same family, his name's Fred Stotic.
Oh,
They
that's
have
a-
different middle initials, but they're
Right.
both Fred Stotics. And Fred, the present Fred, levels land, has his own beef herd. There are all kinds of things that they do to be able. Can you imagine staying in business for over 130 years?
No, I
Over
can't.
140 years? Can you imagine in the same family the things that have gone wrong during that period of time that they had to adapt to, how they've changed their business model? All that's part of the tour. It's like, wow, you've been in business for almost 150 years. How did you do that? Well, that's part of the story.
That's wonderful. And the fourth ranch that you're going to will be,
We will go to the Dangberg Home Ranch. Now, we went there on last year's tour, but Mark's told us that he's going to put up an entirely new exhibit. Now, you have to consider they have 39,000 artifacts
oh,
in the collection.
oh my goodness.
And he's going to bring out stuff that hasn't been seen for years. It's not normally on display. So we'll have that. And then we're going to talk about the development of the water in Carson Valley. Carson Valley is called Paradise for Quadrupeds in Grace Dangberg's book. And it was literally a place atypical in Nevada. Whereas most of Nevada range is the sagebrush sea, this is irrigated pasture land. But it was sagebrush. And the development of the ditch systems and how they did it without engineering. They did it by learning and using levels and figuring it out themselves. An entire valley was sagebrush except right by the river when the first settlers came. And now it's almost entirely under irrigation.
So do the ranches have to turn their irrigation system on at a certain time like they do in town?
You mean like a sprinkler system?
Well, kind of like a sprinkler system, but if they all use it at once, does that,
Federal water law dictates when they can start irrigating. But there's no system on most of these places. It just comes out of the river. They can't start before a certain period of time according to the Alpine decree, and they have to quit by a certain period of time. Now, they can irrigate before that if they have reservoir water, but the Carson River doesn't have any major reservoirs on it. Some ranches have reservoirs. What's interesting is that in the new Bentley approach, they actually have some piped water that comes from treated effluent that they mix with regular water to make their water go farther. And because of that, they do have to turn on their irrigation systems. Most places in Carson Valley don't have that benefit.
Then from the Dangbert Ranch, you mentioned that both, that two of the farmers or ranchers had worked on the Dangbert Ranch before they started
Both
their own?
Stoddard and Springmeyer had associations with Dangbert, either in the old country or here, and came here specifically. I know for a fact, because I saw in the 1870 census, I believe, H.H. Springmeyer was at the Dangbert Home Ranch. I don't know that I can absolutely substantiate that with Stoddard, but I think they knew each other from the old country, and I think from the 18 to 1964 centennial paperwork that they filled out, that he came also to work for Dangbert.
And when you say the old country, which old country are you talking
Well,
about?
they're all Germans, but prior to 1870, there wasn't a Germany. There were only independent states or kingdoms, and they came from the Kingdom of Prussia, Minden, Westphalia, Kingdom of Prussia.
And is that where Minden got its name?
That's absolutely where Minden got its name. And it's Central Park also. It's patterned after the administrative district of Minden in Westphalia.
And you said that they were asked to bring wives with them when they came from the old country. Why is that?
Well, interestingly, and as you might imagine, there were not a lot of females for companionship in 1850 and 1860 Nevada, especially in a rural area like Douglas County.
Right.
So Dangbert sent for his brother August, I think, Heinrich August. There's Heinrich Friedrich, Heinrich August, Heinrich Christoph. So it's hard to keep them straight on occasions. But I think when August came, they said, bring a wife with you because women are hard to find in this country.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And once you get back to the Cowboy Festival in Genoa, what happens that evening in Genoa?
They have a wonderful show that evening. They have Paul Zarzinski, Dave Stamey, and Hot Club of Cowtown. So that people would be able to get a little bite to eat, maybe even see a little bit of the day sessions, and then go to the evening show in the Big Tent. And Paul Zarzinski is a marvelous poet. The entertainment on that evening, and I'm sure on the other evenings, are very, very wonderful people, and Zarzinski's really interesting.
Zarzinski. And you mentioned that he was from Montana.
He is. I believe he lives in Great Falls, although I haven't seen his census report of late.
There are 2 days where day passes will be available for events, and that's on Friday and Saturday? Is that
Yes,
correct?
and Sunday also.
And
Sunday is slightly abbreviated, not quite as long as the time on Friday and Saturday. So there are 3 days for day passes, 2 full days, and one. Well, I can look.
Yeah, we can
Sundays
cheat
10
here.
to 10 to 4. So,
And
and the
Friday
others
and
are 10 to
Saturday,
5.
10 to
Only
5.
an hour difference.
And there's a lot going on.
Oh, all kinds of.
This will be great fun. I can't wait.
They have an educational program that is really, really interesting. They have, it's varied in scope. I mean, a beginner could go, someone that had actually cowboyed some could go, or an old ranch hand could go. And I think that because of that, it offers something for everybody to be able to be a portion of that. I know that I'm doing a Chautauqua performance, and then I'm also doing a PowerPoint on the Nevada Buckaroo from the ground up. And the Nevada Buckaroo from the ground up is kind of his traditions and his culture and his vaquero inheritance. So, it's real different. I mean, you can learn something as a beginner, and yet someone that was an actual cowboy might come and enjoy it also.
I'm going to cheat and look at the flyer that we have, and we'll have this up on the wall at Bridger Mountain if you want to come and have me make a copy. Again, this is May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But the day passes on Friday, and Saturday we'll have educational events and a Chautauqua.
And
And tell
McAvoy
me-
Lane's going to be there.
Tell me again what a Chautauqua, how is that different from the educational part?
Well, it is educational, but you actually perform in the first person as the person that you're portraying. So in my instance, if I were doing John Sparks, I would do about 30 to 40 minutes of John Sparks, including answering questions as John Sparks, Governor John Sparks, or Honest John Sparks, or Cattleman John Sparks.
Wow.
And then when I was done with that, I would stop. I generally turn around to have some kind of a dramatic flair. And when I do that, I become Mike Fischer, the researcher. And I answer questions as the researcher, which is interesting because often people will ask you when you died, and you have to tell them, well, I'm still alive. How could I tell you when I died? But when you turn around and become the researcher, you can then tell them when you died.
Oh, that'll be fun. But they'll have Mark Twain.
McAvoy Lane is Mark Twain.
That's right.
He's prototypical Mark Twain. I mean,
Oh,
he more than channels Mark. I think he is Mark.
I believe I've seen him at on the Gold Hill on the way up to Virginia
Yep,
City.
yep.
He's performed there before.
Yeah, no, he's super.
He's
really
really good. Blacksmith and Farrier.
Uh-huh.
That'll be fun. Cowboy Fast Draw. I've done that before, and I am not
Have all
fast.
your toes?
I have all my toes, but boy, they watched me like a chicken hawk. But you can actually go down to Antiques Plus just south of Genoa, and in a barn there they have Cowboy Fast Draw with the Genoa Mavericks, and they'll strap on a big old holster and a gun, and you sign in and sign your life away liability-wise. And you don't shoot real bullets, but they have a little thing.
Or else the barn would probably have a lot of holes in it.
It would have, especially with me, but they time you, and it's embarrassing when, a 12-year-old can outdraw you. But I understand that they do have a local person who is a national champion in the fast draw.
One other Chautauqua is Sarah Winnemucca
Right.
by Borges, and she is really, really good. Diana is just,
I have never watched her.
Oh,
That'll
she-
be good.
as a Chautauqua performer, you're fairly critical of other Chautauqua performers. And I'm certain they're fairly critical of me also. And sometimes they offer suggestions that make their performance much better. But I've seen her performance on a number of occasions, and she does a wonderful job. Very, very convincing.
And they'll have gear for horses and cowboys, someone talking about the different.
Sure, I believe that one is actually out in front of somewhere, and the horse is there, and they put the saddle on and talk about it. But, for some people, they don't know any of that, and
Right.
they don't know a fender from a cantle, or a swell, or,
Oh.
most of them understand what the horn is, but
Yeah.
bottom line is, there's a lot to be learned, and almost everything has a functional reason. And that even with my buckaroo from the ground up, I go into a lot of detail about the Iberian Peninsula traditions that came with the Spanish that were inherited and are still exhibited by Great Basin buckaroos.
Have you done some buckarooing yourself? Cowboying?
I've been in muck and mire on occasions. Yes, I was very fortunate that I got to cowboy at Dangberg when it was still H.F. Dangberg Land and Livestock for a period of time. I was very fortunate. I was a dentist 3 days a week and a cowboy 3 days a week.
Oh my goodness.
And I was single, and that worked just fine. Now I got married, and I had to become more responsible.
Give one up.
But it was fun.
That would be
I love
great
to do
fun.
that. And, you can go all over the state of Nevada and help people, and they do things differently. You got to respect their traditions, but you really get a lot of good stuff done and see some beautiful country.
That would be great. And who else is on here? We've got Snowshoe Thompson, portrayed by Don Thompson. Is he related to Snowshoe, or?
Hey, you know, I have not seen Don's performance. He has been involved with Snowshoe. His nickname is Snowshoe Thompson.
Oh,
So I think he's just done a ton of history. He's an early, I think, 1950s UNR graduate that had Reno Business College for a long time. But I think in fact, that's one
Yeah.
of my major disappointments. I wanted to go see that show.
right.
But that's right in the middle of my ranch tour. So I'm really hurt that I can't go see it. But I think that would be fun to go see.
Somebody will have to film
Record
it for
it.
you.
Maybe they could film it.
Maybe our filmer could film that one. Well, this sounds like great fun. On other daytime events, the Immigrant Trail Tour?
There is a tour of the Immigrant Trail. Obviously, you know, Carson Valley is deeply steeped in history and culture. And because of that, and because of people coming through, I mean, the whole cattle business in many ways started trading worn out cows for the ones that were there, so that the people who had come down the 40-mile desert could actually get over the hill and into California. So maybe I took 2 of yours and gave you one good one, so I ended up with 4 and you got 2. And because of that, the cattle business started. That expanded the irrigation system so they could feed more cows, and it just grew through all the years.
That's amazing. And that's going to be on Saturday, then a harmonica workshop, and I understand your wife is going to partake in that, or has
She
before?
actually did it in Elko. She was
Oh, what fun.
at Cowboy Poetry in Elko. She took it and enjoyed it. She thought it was a very fun thing that she learned how to do it, and she swears she's practicing in the music room.
Oh, but you haven't heard it yet. She's going to
No,
surprise
but none
you.
of the milk's curdled.
Oh, there you go. Very good, very good. Well, I think we're just about out of time today. How could someone reach the festival organization to find out more or to get tickets?
There's a website, Genoa Cowboy Festival.org. But if you just Google, or whatever the proper term would be
Right.
without trademark infringement, if you do a search for Genoa Cowboy Festival, you can get tickets there. Or you can call the town office, which I believe is 782-0326.
Right. Sounds like great fun. We'll see you there.
If
Thank you,
that's
Mike.
not the town office, that's at least where they can get tickets.
Exactly.
But if they have trouble with that, call the Genoa town
Oh, they
office,
can
because
look
they
that
can
up.
do it that way also.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. It's
been
fun. Come to the ranch tour. It'll be a
Oh,
whole lot of fun.
I would love that.